And you said that you made the transition. Can you go into a little bit more of how you made the transition into specializing in GI, like away from your general weight loss? When I think registered dietitian, I think, hey, these are the subject matter experts on nutrition in general. Obviously, I also don't think cardiologist when you say doctor, but it's a specialty, right? So can you talk a little bit more in depth of how you got into GI, why you care about it, why other people should care about it, and maybe what it looks like in the world, like how many people are actually dealing with these issues, whether they know it or not.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. Because GI is something that people don't talk about, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
like you don't talk about your bowel movements or, your GI symptoms. So it's something that a lot of people are actually dealing with and they just
Mhm.
don't talk about it because that's not something that you bring up at, the dinner table, right? So it's more common than you think. But I got into the GI world. I was seeing some GI patients in the hospital and I just wanted to have more follow-up. I was seeing them and then they would go home and I never saw them again. So I wanted to have more follow-up, which is why I transferred into that outpatient setting. So you kind of were seeing your patients a little bit more frequently.
Mhm.
And so you just have a little bit more connection with them. But really what I love about, GI nutrition is that a lot of the clients who I work with, they feel so bad and they're taking medicine and they're doing all these things and it's putting, they're stressed and they're not sleeping well and they just feel bad all the time. But no one ever thought to tell them, hey, maybe we should look at your diet. And then we change things diet wise. We adjust their stress. We help manage stress. We focus on sleep. We focus on water intake. We focus on all these other things rather than just medicine, and they feel better. And that's the cool thing. One of the things I love the most about my job is helping people feel good, and helping people feel so much better, which is why I love what I do.
Yeah. Now, would you say if you had to percentage split it between preventative and then reactionary, like what you do, the things, and when you're talking about GI, is it mostly on the back end? Like, hey, we're dealing with a problem. Let's go ahead and diagnose it that way. Let's be a diagnostician there. Or are there things preventatively that you would recommend more people start doing if they think that they might have sensitivity, or they think, or people in their family have, or they're just like, hey, I just want to be a little bit healthier. Well, maybe we do these things.
Yeah. I will say most of the people that I work with,
Mhm.
most of my clients, it is, I have pain, I have loose stools, I'm bloated, help. And so I'll work with them to kind of adjust their diet, figure out what their intolerances are, to where they no longer have pain. They're no longer having loose stools 4 times a day. So we work together to figure that stuff out. I will say that is, I 90% of the clients who I work with, that's majority of what we're doing. It's kind of like, they feel bad, let's fix it.
Mhm.
However, to kind of try to get ahead of that, a Mediterranean diet is kind of like the general healthy diet, quote unquote, that I would recommend. It kind of goes back again, I keep saying this, but like how everything can fit, right? It has fruits, it has vegetables, it has lean meats, it has proteins, it has healthy fats. So that is something that I recommend. The other thing that I recommend, especially from a GI standpoint, is trying to avoid processed things. So if you look at an ingredients list and it has like 45 ingredients, you can't pronounce half the things on it, that's probably not your best option. So if you can't even pronounce it, you probably can't digest it. It's kind of like a good rule of thumb. So that's the other thing that I recommend from a food standpoint. And then there's other factors that play a role in GI health too, because our brain and our gut is the strongest connection that your body makes. So they're constantly chatting back and forth all day long. So if you're doing everything right in your diet, but your stress is like a 10 out of 10, that could be triggering GI symptoms that can be affecting your body. So focusing on stress management, sleep, water intake, that kind of stuff's important too.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So lowering cortisol and really focusing on recovery,
Yes, definitely.
and
Definitely.
not just doing what James does and run on caffeine, like
Yeah, it's
800
probably not your
milligrams a
best
day,
option. Not your best option.
just running.